Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. We got what's causing the dip. I think we got something to think about on that. William Hemden may have more trouble. We'll cover it. BlackRock, Andreessen Horowitz, digital renminbi wallet. Turkey gets red pilled on crypto. Bank of Korea. And how about this? We got information. Ripple firing back about the DP pushback on that ruling from the court and the SEC. We'll cover it. More talk on a government buyback for XRP. And I'm going to show you technical analysis I believe that I'm certainly here for, and I'm sure most of you are too. We're going to take a look at it, that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at @BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today. $1.556 trillion market cap. Not good. We are at 3.97% down right now, and we know 3 trillion plus is where we've been for the all-time high for cryptocurrency market cap. Right now, let's take a look at the numbers quickly. 34,100 plus for Bitcoin, $2,200 off for or $2,200 right now plus for Ethereum. We see Cardano coming in at $1.02. We see XRP now is sitting at 58 cents at the number 7 spot, flipping Solana, and Solana is at $87 here. Huge bleed off in the market. But I tell you what, not financial advice, I continue to accumulate as much as I possibly can. And I don't always have the dry powder to get as much as I want, but I try to do it no matter how small to exercise the habit for myself, just my digital perspectives. 58 cents is where we are right now, 0.5601 on the low side and 0.6393 on the top. We will keep an eye on it. The numbers are brought to you by Pure VPN. If you go to my description section, comment section, click on the second link down. It is Pure VPN. It will take you to this page, and you can leave no digital traces of your identity online, and you can get 5-year deal, 88% off, $1.33 a month. Can't beat it. Check it out. So we know XRP has taken over Solana in market cap. That's a big move. I think that's something to say. Look, we know Solana's had trouble with the network shutting down. I don't know what's behind it, but I do know that it's been happening, and that's been a negative for them. But I also know that it speaks to the strength of XRP, that it could be sued by the SEC right now and continue to push forward in what it is doing out here. Remember, 25% of RippleNet's volume is settled in XRP, ladies and gentlemen. That's a hell of a number. 133 billion, this is another hell of a number here. 133 billion wiped off crypto markets in 24 hours as Bitcoin and Ether dropped to multi-month lows, and the rest of the market pretty much as well. And that's what's going on there. But listen, you know, someone had said the other day that, you know, there was a lot of short positions put in on Bitcoin, and that really started a sell-off. And that may be a part of it, and that may be accurate as well. For me, you know, I have to say, for me, this is probably the best definition of why the market is down, because from the very beginning of this case, XRP holders and people that understand what this case is about have been saying that this case is not just about Ripple or XRP. It is, in fact, about the crypto space broadly, because the SEC wants to really make almost entirely the entire crypto space digital asset securities and rule them. And because of this lack of clarity and lack of power by the SEC to just flat out do it and move past the moment, we know that we are now down to 3 things. We are either going to get clarity from this case when it ends, and they could drop this case without clarity, by the way, not to put ice water in anyone's veins. Or we could get it from either the clarity of this case, or we could get it from Congress and legislation, which would really define the space, and not specifically this case, I don't mean. But by giving us legislation that would clarify what these assets are and what the right regulatory bodies are to oversee them. Or we could get it through the President's Working Group headed up by Janet Yellen and the U.S. Treasury. And that could be a place where we get it, because they said if Congress doesn't get it done, they're going to do it, and they don't need Congress's approval to do it. And I think that puts a bad taste in Congress's mouth. If they got any backbone at all, they'll want to get it done for all of us. So, but listen to this quick explainer right here from Crypto Law.
In 2018, then SEC official Bill Hinman gave a speech declaring that Ether is not a security.
We believe current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions.
He made us believe it was guidance to the market.
It was the first time we had expressed to the world that we didn't view Ether as a security.
But Gary Gensler's SEC says this speech was not guidance. That's not what the markets thought.
The SEC has started to weigh in. Just last week, Bill Hinman communicated that Ether was considered a commodity, not a security.
Even then, SEC Commissioner Robert Jackson made us think it was guidance to the market.
He gave a speech where he laid out, here's how we think about this, and gave a set of principles that the market can follow.
From time to time, the SEC does its best work, not through the cumbersome and formal rulemaking process, but instead by talking to the market. Help me understand how to do this right. And we're working on it. Hinman gave a speech.
And all the while, Bill Hinman was being paid $15 million from a law firm promoting Ethereum. Then Hinman left the SEC to be a partner at the biggest crypto investment fund. Why did Bill Hinman give that speech? How many millions of reasons did he have? It's time for an investigation of the conflicts of interest by SEC officials like Hinman. Only Congress has oversight on the SEC. Demand your lawmakers support an investigation. Connect to Congress today.
There it is. And you know what? And now we know the court has also ruled that William Hinman's speech was in fact a personal opinion, regardless of all the we talk that we've seen in many, many different videos. But let's move on to here, because you know what? Now we see in the library case, shout out to Stephen Hubert, also wants to grill William Hinman in their lawsuit with the SEC. Remember, one of Ripple's former lawyers is representing Library. Poor little Billy. It says right here, defendant Library objection to plaintiff's motion to quash deposition subpoena issued to the former Division of Corporate Finance Director William Hinman. I think things are obviously getting bigger and darker for William Hinman. And in fact, you know, wouldn't it be something? Look, who's the lowest hanging fruit here? I'll tell you who's overexposed in all of this. It's William Hinman. He's the one that came out, and not only did the SEC force him to sign, or not force, but they got him to sign affidavits, sworn affidavits, that it was his own personal opinion. That the SEC said, get away from us with that. Right? That's what that was. That's a legal separation right there. And now the court has legally ruled the separation, that William Hinman's comments are in fact his personal opinion. So now he's left with why, as a public official, did he come out and share his personal opinion, quote unquote, with the rest of the world, allowing an unfair, unique advantage to the Ethereum network, for which allowed them to have a monopoly and launch an assembly line of billions of dollars worth of products and projects off of that network. Still to this day, I don't want to see anybody get in trouble, but William Hinman's looking like low-hanging fruit here. And the truth is those are the people that realize it too when it happens. And when you realize you have nowhere else to go, immunity is the conversation at hand for William Hinman, and starting to give up everyone else along the chain, the food chain, that benefited from these decisions. You know, just another quick thought here. You know, William Hinman said in his speech they didn't see a third party, central party behind Ethereum, but yet it is proven they met with Joseph Lubin and other Ethereum founders and investors, which in fact were a central party behind the network. Just a mess going on right there. And here's another bit of a mess, even though the numbers look good. Shout out to Hall of Famer Michael here. During 2021, 94% of advisors received a question about crypto from clients, up to 81% from 2020 and 76% to 2019. You see the numbers, the interest, the intensity of people wanting to know more and more about how to get into crypto. The problem is the financial advisors they're talking to can't get them crypto because they're not allowed to offer it. It's like asking a Harley Davidson salesman if you should buy a Cadillac. The obvious answer is no. You should get a motorcycle because I sell motorcycles, right? So this is the real problem here and the real rub. And now let's put that together with what we've seen recently too. We know Crypto.com, FTX, they're all going to have Super Bowl commercials. I got friends and family telling me that watch cable television that they're seeing every football game that happens, there's crypto ads happening. I know that I Trust Capital is running ads on morning news networks in the morning. It's massive what's taking place here, ladies and gentlemen. Link in the description, comment section for the best crypto IRA in the world too, by the way. But this is getting interesting. And in times like this, when the market's down, look, one of the core disciplines and tenets to my investing is that I have been stacking my pennies next to their dollars. And BlackRock is one of them. And we know that they're into crypto, and they keep working to be even deeper and more embedded into crypto for the opportunities to come. And so do I. BlackRock files for the ETF to track performance on blockchain and crypto company focused index, and as well as having a position in Bitcoin, which they reluctantly let us know about. Venture capital giant Andreessen Horowitz plans to raise $4.5 billion for 2 new crypto funds, report says. Now think of that, $4.5 billion, and the market and the top 2 coins of the space have lost 50% or plus 50% at this point from their all-time highs. You think they're bothered by any of this lack of clarity? You think they're walking around, can kicking? Where's my Lambo, right? This is the fundamental news I want to see that tells me everything I've been doing since 2017 is on point. Now, they've got whatever they've got they're invested in, and I've got whatever I got. We've all done our own research and efforts, right? But that is what I see. And it makes me excited to know that regardless of today's situation, I am in a great position because I am in this position before any clarity has arrived, and the masses as well. And when the masses come, they are going to be pushing this market in an incredible way. And look, and that's not to speak of the fact that the masses isn't just every consumer or customer buying crypto. I mean the masses as in the mass institutional money, as well as consumer and citizens alike really getting in that are not just speculators and investors, right? But real participants in the market and the projects and the tokens that are actually useful. Because once we get clarity, we're really going to see the innovation race truly take place, where these things can prove out and say, hey, that worked for a year and then fell to the floor. Hey, this is working and it's proven to be the next Google-like product for the crypto sector. Those are the things I'm talking about. Those are the moments I'm really looking forward to. And here's some information here that's really starting to shine a light on something here. You have to ask yourself why. Digital RMB wallets are up 84% in 2 months. However, the value grows slower. Now, I don't know why that is, and the article really didn't tell me either. But the reality is you have to wonder, why is the CBDC had a slower rate of growth than the downloading of the wallets? That may be a temporary number, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Looking right here, we see Turkey's president expected to swallow Bitcoin's red pill after meeting with El Salvador's president there, Bukele, who has already taken the pill. Nayib Bukele is already into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is legal tender there. And they are accumulating during this dip, as well as all of us speculators are out in this market. And Bank of Korea has successfully completed the first phase of its central bank digital currency mock testing, started in August 2021. There is nothing but forward motion with all of these central banks in some form. 80+% of these banks, and I think the number's even higher, that are in some form of testing pilot phase of a central bank digital currency. Look right here, we got some breaking news from James K. Filan, right? And it is Ripple defendants have filed an objection to the SEC's request for additional time to file a motion for reconsideration of Judge Netburn's DPP ruling over William Hinman's speech and the documents that are relevant. It says here, on behalf of Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, and Ripple Labs, we write in this opposition to SEC's request for an extension of time to file more documents attached to an oversized motion for partial reconsideration of the court's January 13, 2022 order The SEC requests 4 weeks to file its motion for reconsideration, where it provides for 2, leave to file another 20-page brief, where court practices allow only 5, and 3, leave to submit approximately 66 more documents to the court for in-camera inspection that could have been provided by the SEC prior to this court's already extensive review. And the SEC now claims support a new argument. The SEC's attempt to inject, delay, and re-argue its position based on additional materials and new arguments is improper, they say, and they cite the case law, I guess, here for it. Consideration is not an invitation for parties to treat the court's initial decision as the opening of a dialogue in which the party may then use such a motion to advance new theories or adduce a new evidence in response to the court's filing or ruling, It says here, defendants have sought the documents covered by the court's order for almost a year. In the meantime, fact discovery has based 17 facts. Witnesses have been deposed. And it says here, the expert reports have been filed. As this case approaches a new phase of motions practice, defendants are entitled to review the documents prepared to defense, the SEC claims. Any further delay to allow the SEC to present new or additional evidence or to raise new arguments that are plainly not appropriate on a motion for reconsideration would only prejudice defendants. It says here the SEC has had plenty of time to opportunity to put before the court whatever argument or document it wished. The SEC already filed declarations in support of its privilege assertions, that is, the court's already considered. It says here, in addition to substantial briefing and oral argument, it says nothing the SEC proposes to submit now is new or intervening, nor does the SEC seem to assert the court overlooked important matters or controlling decisions that might reasonably be expected to alter the conclusion reached by the court. Instead, the SEC apparently seeks to re-argument on the basis of dozens of self-selected documents it logged months before the court issued the January 13th ruling. It says here, what's more, the SEC apparently intends to argue contrary to its repeated assertions and sworn statements that Director Bill Hinman's June 2018 speech represented only his personal views. And it says here, and similar documents were an essential link to the SEC's deliberative process with respect to Ether and other digital assets. This is a reversal of the SEC's litigation position to date. Before the court's order, the SEC argued that the documents were protected by the deliberative process privilege. It says because they reflected internal agency communications on what Hinman and speech should say. Despite having the opportunity to argue in its prior briefing argument that Entry 9 and similar documents related to the agency deliberations about the regulation of Ethereum or digital assets more broadly, it did not. It cannot do so now. Motion for reconsideration may not be used to advance new facts, issue arguments not previously presented to the court. The SEC should not benefit from its wait-and-see approach to continue delaying production of potentially exculpatory documents defendants have been seeking for the better part of a year. The local rules and the court's practices prescribes ample time and space for the SEC to articulate its position on the single aspect of the court's order that intends to challenge the motion should be denied. Now, I know it's a lot, but I wanted to read the whole thing to you because it is important here, right? It is very important what we're seeing here. And this will be really important to see, obviously, what the judge is going to respond to this. I hope that Ripple wins this position here. Now, looking at this is Zach Richter. What about a government buyback? We hear this talk from time to time. Shout out to Jimmy Valley from Val Hill Capital. Shout out to Zach Richter and Real Reaper CEO Patrick Riley here for another great conversation, pondering and speculating on this position. And listen to this quick clip here about the idea of a potential government buyback because of the necessity to use XRP because of the current liquidity and global crisis that we are in and have been in for several years now.
Right. But my point being is that there's not 30 billion XRP for the banks and financial institutions to run payment networks, settlement layer now. And there's not going to be until people offload their XRP and then they're able to accumulate it and start using it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I mean, that is where the buyback theory comes in, is it does have merit, and it has constitutional precedence. It has legal precedence with the previous executive orders. So I think that it's a totally possible potential scenario that there would be a buyback. But like I said, I think that, you know, the government being the government, they're going to be stingy and they're going to try to get it at a lower price. So naturally, if they bought up through $100, through a few $100s, they're going to be able to absorb the large majority of that at a much lower price.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're going to try to force us into that buyback, or are they going to just try to make the deal good enough?
Well, if we're looking at the previous executive order for gold, you know, there was criminal penalties and financial penalties to hold and or trade gold. Given that XRP is a open blockchain ledger, it would be relatively easy for the government to trace and find out if somebody had previously done that. So if they did,
what if you were a betting man, what is your like percentage chance that you think a buyback actually happens?
55.
Okay, just slightly better than 50-50. I like that.
55% chance, Patrick Riley says. Shout out to both Zach Rector and Patrick Riley for that conversation. Listen, I know it's speculative, right? And it certainly is speculative. But you know what? Gold confiscation happened. So why can't we have this conversation? It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, okay? Just like you guys know, since I've started my channel here, I believe we could see a price set or a price floor for XRP price because they could collateralize the ledger with many different assets, including fiat reserves, and that would give us a really reliable price for the central banks to begin using XRP at full scale intended use to settle even large value payments. Now, is what happens between now and this moment at 50 plus cents and having some kind of clarity from a decision in this case or legislation or some kind of intervention from the President's Working Group and the Treasury? I don't know, but I don't think it's wrong for us to speculate because we've all got very real money in this thing. So I appreciate everybody in their conversations for it. Now let's take a look at this because I told you I show some technical analysts here and analysis that I'm excited about. And it's not only 3 digits, but I'm here for 4 and 5 digit XRP because I do believe its ultimate destination is to service all the money the way we've been told by Ripple themselves. So the reality here is that look at this channel. Look at this channel of price action right here and what we could see could be before us, even in this slump that we're in right now. A lot of these end up being repeat fractals of the 2017-2018 bull run. That looks like what that we're seeing here, right? And if we look here, we also see that same fractal being repeated and showing us much the same, 400 plus over the next however long it takes to unfold. A year, 2 years, I don't know. One thing's for sure, I believe we're really stuck at a place where we need to see some kind of clarity, whether it comes in the form of legislation for this market or the President's Working Group and the Treasury and the regulatory agencies respectfully to them, FSOC and OFAC, right? But one thing I know is that even if the SEC case is dropped because the SEC would see some kind of unfavorable outcome because they have not been getting some of the things that they want, I don't know at this point how they could even allow Ripple to see the documents that they've been awarded, because I believe that there could be something exculpatory in there that could be very damning to end this case. And if the SEC really does want to be the ruler of the majority of this digital asset market, it may take dropping this case to get it done. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you leave a comment below and share with somebody you know. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep pushing. Let's get these numbers up. And I tell you, I appreciate each and every one of you. And in doing so, all of the products and services that I'm currently using are in the description and comment section. And they are trusted, vetted links with really great specials and deals. But you got to click the links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.